Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to a game called Our Life. We recently just went through the second and final ending of this game, of Act 4 at least, with Derek. Now there's only one last person that we have to actually interact with, and that is our good friend, Cove. Here you can choose an epilogue to play. Note this can only be played once and the game will end. Enjoy. Of course, if you save, you can play through all of them. In between. Let's do this. Yeah, that looks good. Sure, high initiative. And so your days growing up in the loving cradle of Sunset Bird came to an end. In the years that passed since graduation, you moved out of your childhood home and made your way in the world. You know what? It'll be funny. Lived with Cove and his lived with Cove, his fish, and the pet you picked, and you had multiple ways of earning income in the gaming industry, because that's where I hope to work someday. I mean, obviously, I love working as a YouTuber and as a part-time thing, but doesn't earn any money. I do write, again, not really earning any money from that. Do art, don't earn any money from that. So, and my current job, not something I want to stick long-term for. So, your family members went through the same kinds of leaps into independence. Liz and Lee eventually earned degrees and started fantastic careers in new towns. But your moms and Cove saw they still lived in the same street they had for all those years before. It was comforting to you that there were still some things that remained in the same neighborhood. Despite the ever-changing reality of your adult life, your friends were still your friends, though, of course, things weren't exactly the same for them either. Very recently, Terry publicly came out as a man and switched the spelling of his name to use a Y instead of an I. He also confessed his love for Miranda, which he excitedly reciprocated. They moved in together recently in the city out past Sunset Bird. Derek was also busy, but was doing well. He also made an effort to keep in touch, and you even saw each other in person occasionally. For the person you left the town and you behind. You got and texted, but Baxter never answered. It still hurts. Anytime you remembered you were brought down. No matter how much time had passed, your heart clenched every time something reminded you of Baxter. It seems like your thoughts and feelings would go unheeded by him for the rest of your life. And then there was what became of your sad little boy you grew up with, Cove Holden. Your deep affections for him were something that continued to last unabated over the years. But those feelings were still tucked away inside. Hopefully it wouldn't remain that way. He truly thrived in his continued efforts of cultivating a loving and supporting relationship with his family and friends. His personality had changed, becoming more open than ever before. Cove was a warm, inviting, considerate man who took the lessons he learned over the years to treat the people around him with patience and understanding. When Cove eventually developed a picture of the future he wanted to have as an adult, it made perfect sense to you based on his interests. He went to college to study marine biology, which, honestly, very, very fitting for him. His ultimate goal was to start becoming a natural resource technician, and he still volunteered with Orca when his workload allowed it. As an adult, Cove was also able to recognize and have diagnosed that he was on the autism spectrum. It was something that hadn't been noticed by his doctors as a child, but he was still the same Cove as he always was to you. He was just glad to have understand himself better. It was so to you to see how happy and successful he'd grown up to be. On the whole, life continued its steady beat forward, and you all went with it down the path you chose. It was strange and wonderful, but no matter how old you got, how far you roamed, or how long the way you were away, the home you had in Sunset Bird still called you back eventually. The car rumbled down the highway. You had started to zone out when a truck in the left lane loudly zoomed past. Your driver didn't remark on it, just like anything else on the ship. You went back to staring out the window, letting the scenery pass you by. You did appreciate the spacious back seat of your ride. You hadn't known exactly when you would be coming in, so you decided to use the ride app rather than ask your mom to pick you up. It turns out to be a convenient choice. You looked forward to surprising your parents at the door. You smiled at the thought of their faces lighting up. Luckily, this hadn't been that big of a trip for you, which is definitely very convenient. You lived close enough that the travel hadn't turned into a big production. However, that didn't make the occasion mundane. For once, your moms had decided to have a modest celebration for dinner for their anniversary. Unlike when you were growing up and they preferred not to make a big deal out of it, this year they were comfortable having a party. As time went on, they had found being in the center of attention easier to handle, and you were happy to see it. With this going on, there's no way that either you or Liz would miss your mom's anniversary. Both of you made plans to come back home for it. You didn't hear from Liz about her exact schedule, but you hadn't shared yours either. It reminded you of when you were kids and both of you show up for a dinner, but didn't keep each other in the loop for each other's pre-dinner plans. This was the same concept after all. Some things stayed the same, and yet it was definitely different from when you would see your sister every day and knew sort of what she was doing from osmosis. Today, you had no idea. Things were always changing. You mused on how, at times, it was hard to believe you didn't live with your parents anymore, and yet you couldn't imagine going back and living as a kid under their rules. The rest of the drive flew by. Your silent driver provided a smooth ride. No sharp turns or hard stops jostled you out of your own head. Your thoughts turned from introspective to observant. The landscape passing by became more and more familiar. You frequently recognized the landmarks that dotted the area. A grin came to your face as you passed the now entering sign from the Sunset Bird. Excitement built within you. You're really here. You're doing this. Your driver turned off on the street, and you realized that their math program must be taking you the way home that Ma preferred. You usually would have used the other side of the street to pass by the beach. No time at all, the car had gone through the whole town and pulled in front of your mom's condo. The car slowed to a stop and parked. With the buzz of the highway gone, you realized that you could hear the familiar sounds of waves. The air smelled like salt, and a rush of childhood memories flooded back. You started to gather your things and humming to yourself once more about how happy your moms would be to see you. After that, you would notify everyone else that you made the trip safely. You pulled over your suitcase from the other seat and yanked out at your bag from down near your feet. Tap, tap. You startled at the sudden sound of tapping glass. It caused you to pause. Did you really hear what you thought you did? You weren't entirely sure, because soon you heard something else, the window on the opposite side of the car rolling down. It confused you, until you put it together that despite the driver's silence, you weren't actually alone in this car. The driver must have pressed the button. Someone had to be there. You turned your head to face the now open window.
Luna!
Hey, Luna. Hey, precious boy. What a surprise it is. I didn't expect you to see you in this neighborhood. He was joking, of course. Seeing your expression, he decided to push it further. It's not like I've been waiting for you out here all morning or anything. You're adorable. You survived. Cove burst out laughing at your delivery. Wasn't easy. You then gripped the top of the car door and pushed his half-torso through the opening. That was enough to make the driver break their silence with a sharp "Hey!" Cove did not seem to notice and continued climbing through the window. He pushed one hand down to the middle seat, propped his dangling body up. Missed you. Seeing Cove's face hearing those words made you feelings of love swell inside your chest. You felt lightheaded as if those feelings were too great for anything else, even oxygen to coexist inside you. For years and years and years, Cove had this effect on you, never failing to send your heart racing with a single look. You didn't even think you could ever become immune to his effects on you. From your first fateful meeting on the Poppy Hill as children, to wading through the uncertainty of growing up, right up to today, Cove had been there. You couldn't imagine what your life would have been like if without him in it. But those were thoughts you had to keep inside. It was necessary to swallow the overwhelming emotions. Cove couldn't realize how much you felt for him. Yeah, 'cause there's a lot going on right now. You sighed deeply, something in you see as attention snapped. You couldn't face it. There are too many years of history holding you back. Cove raised a brow, concerned by the sudden change in your...
Are you okay?
Flattered by your best smile, and you nodded in what you hoped was a convincing way. But it's not that convincing. Well, to be fair, he's also very oblivious, so it's gonna be fine. Oh yeah, I must have been half asleep from when I drifted off the way here. It's great to see you again. That's good. That's a good excuse. Cove smiled her turn, bright and encouraging, blissfully unaware of what almost happened. And it was enough. You wouldn't ask for more. At least not yet. You flicked his nose. You stretched your hand out and gave him a solid, friendly flick to the bridge of his nose.
Hey!
Hey! He gasped indignantly, but even then he couldn't cover his smile with a fake affront. Okay, now get out the window, you crazy person. But it's so comfortable. His body was shaking from the effort to maintain his precarious position. Cove's smile turned awkward as his arm started to bend lower, causing his body to slide downward in it, and he turned his head to the
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm always causing trouble in this neighborhood. Cove shifted around some more and squirmed in the back the way he came. After he had successfully pushed off the window and landed to the pavement with a thump, you opened your car door. Which is glad. I'm glad he's realizing that was a bad idea. You threaded your arms through the various straps of your bags and climbed out. Cove took a few long strides around the back of the car and quickly met your side. Wait, does he still? Yeah, he still has a scar. Cove stood in front of you, and it struck that the two of you were back in Sunset Bird, once again reunited on the streets. He ruffled his hair, gave his hair a satisfying tussle. He laughed and shook his hair after you were done, completing the wind-swept look. You really were ecstatic to be around him again, and absolutely thrilled that it was here in town where you were together. Even if it had only been a short time since you teamed off, you had still missed Cove greatly. It somehow felt like a lot longer. Given how different your schedules and travel availabilities, it worked out better for Cove to head out to Sunset Bird first. You only arrived in the evening before, however, and secured the hotel room. Until now, you never had to deal with that inconvenience of being a tourist-heavy area. It was a fight to get a place to stay close during the heat of summer vacation season. Living without him at your place was strange. Cove is basically a part of you at this point, and you're glad to feel whole again. Oh. You idly shifted your luggage, then it struck to you that you were short one. You got out in such a hurry that it was left behind. You reached back into the car to pull it out. Cove stood aside as you made a dash for the door. You shouldering the small bag and felt relief that you would be able to brush your teeth tonight. Got everything this time? You stood up straight, everything truly gathered up and out of the car. That's nice. We have to make sure we got all of our items. Yeah, that's one of the convenience of if you actually have your own car. Because you gave the back seat one last glance and nodded. Cove shut the door behind you and moved out of the way. The two of you stepped off the street and gave the driver some move. Cove waved. Sorry again. The driver said nothing and drove off. With the road clear, which I'm glad he didn't drive off with our tiny bag of, I'm guessing, like, basic bathroom necessities. With the road clear, you let your gaze drift across the neighborhood that you had known for forever. It was such a small place and spent so many days. You were flooded with memories of going up and down the street during every stage of your life. Being a little kid, following your big sister to the playground, becoming a teen and staying out later, and growing up into adults who left their parents' home to be independent. Because, gosh, being independent is so hard. Because real life is hard. You could feel the summer sun on your skin all the times you headed out to the beach. You saw the same surroundings that you as a young adult did leaving home. It was hard to quantify the amount of history you had there, and now you were back. Despite taking in the neighborhood again, you never lost awareness of Cove's presence. Well, from the corner of your eye, seeing him there was a familiar sight as well. So many of your memories included him. Your mind drifted in from the neighborhood itself to the person who used to live there. You couldn't help the feeling of nostalgia. You still remembered his face, his voice, the scar on his arms from days long gone. He had changed so much since you first met him, yet even with those changes, he was always recognizable. He was familiar like the sky was, in the way that you knew the sea. Every day they may appear different, but they still had an inextricable part of life. It was the world with the help from Mr. Holton and his ill-thought $20 bill that brought you together to begin with, but the two of you had chosen each other. You never had let the interactions fade, and you decided to nurture your relationship into what that was. It would continue to keep Cove close into all the rest of your adult years. You still had been harboring an attraction to Cove for so many years now, but still had never said a word about it to him. You had thought that it would fade as time dragged on, but no, your feelings didn't dull. Each time you saw him, everything came rushing back. There was no escaping the impact Cove had on you. He was special. Despite all of Cove's familiarity to you, the growing of intense feeling for him was not part of that. When you saw him, there was an attraction brewing that you never expected to hold for someone you known for almost all your life. There was something different about him, or maybe it was that maybe it was you who was different, or you both were, but either way, the emotions were undeniable. It would be impossible to imagine life without him. Cove noticed you staring at him after a while and smiled with his eyebrows rising in curiosity. He was very transparent in his question if there was something you wanted to say. You shook your head and returned him a soft expression. You let yourself get carried away in the tide of memories, but now it's time to focus on the present. No time like now. Let's go see my mom's. Cove nodded and then pointed at all your luggage bundled at your legs. Can I help with any of that? Yeah, thanks. You graciously passed him a bag. It was a lot easier to balance everything with that out of the way. You used both of your hands to take hold of one piece of luggage and stood tall, pleased to be able to provide assistance. Bag solution resolved, the two of you strode over to the mayor residence door. You started to pat your pockets instinctively, only to realize that you had no longer carried a key to the house. Your eyes scanned the entryway, a little lost only to spot the doorbell. The thought of having to ring the door felt super weird. As you pressed the inconveniently placed button on the sidewall, you remembered that no matter how much of this place would always be home to you, it wasn't where you lived. Being back here was like putting on a uniform after you quit the store where you came from. It remained the same, but the circumstances had changed. Cove shifted on his feet awkwardly, obviously also thrown about you being stuck out here keyless. You heard muffled voices shuffling around from inside. Your heartbeat sped up in anticipation. The doorway swung open and there was your mom's smiling faces. She immediately brightened upon seeing you standing there. Well, well, well. It's so weird seeing her on the outside even though she's late. Mom twisted her head back and gave a shout down the hall. Lainey, guess who's here? There were more distinct noises, no doubt Ma getting up from wherever she was coming up to see. Her high-spirited words rang out clearly. I hope it's one of my children. Mom snickered, still holding the door only half open to hide you for a little longer. Cove flushed as if suddenly realizing that he was going to be present for your mom's enthusiastic welcoming of you. He smiled to reassure him that he wasn't intruding. Ma finally reached the door and peered over Mom's shoulder. It is! Hello, Luna! She gave you a once-over, patting the tops of your shoulders and moving you down the sides of your arms before she nodded in satisfaction that you were indeed in one piece.
How sweet!
This is a wonderful surprise. Ma inclined her head to Cove's next, not leaving him out either. Hello, sweetie. You grinned at your parents and laughed. You missed their presence so much. Cove bashfully waved at them. He hadn't relaxed fully, but he had settled down at their welcome. Well, don't just stand there. Come on in. Your moms moved aside and held the door open for you, gesturing for you to enter. You stepped into the living room. It was comfortable and cool. Cove was a half step behind you, his eyes on the new painting your moms must have added since the last time you were here. Things were mostly the same, but there are more decorations since you had seen the house last. Mom may have gotten the urge for some interior designing again. It struck you how odd it was to be the guest, only observing their choices for the living space here, rather than a full-time occupant. Ma came up in front of you, excitement in her eyes. I'm so glad you're here.
That's fine.
You know, your mom and I would have been happy to pick you up, but since you're self-sufficient and responsible, that's okay. What matters is that you arrived safely. Mom appeared at her side with a nod. Welcome back, kiddos. You appreciate that your parents respected you as an adult, even if Mom still called you a kiddo. You figured long ago that you'll always be her kiddo, no matter how grown you've become. It was all part of the parent-child-like deal with her. You hugged your moms. You took another step forward and pulled Mom and Ma into a great big hug, squeezing them tight. Their arms wrapped around you in return, and you could feel their love for you in their embrace. It's so great to see you. Of course, it's always nice when I'm able to come by. Your mom's giggle, please. So how's it been? I hope it's been good. Getting enough excitement and all that. Speaking of exciting things, your anniversary dinner, is everything all set for all
No
that?
problem.
We're happy to help if there's something we can do. We've been plenty fine. It's been a little quiet, but that's not a bad thing. Mom placed an arm around Ma's shoulder and gave her a side hug.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about the party. We're just playing teat at the Cypress. Nothing fancy. Which is kind of a funny thing to say about a pretty fancy country club. The biggest issue has just been making sure everyone could make it for the day. Speaking of which, Liz will be arriving tonight. We're planning on picking her up later. I guess Liz isn't as grown up as Luna. Mom snickered at her own joke, and Ma lightly elbowed her with a barely hidden grin.
Shush.
Shush. So I was saying we could drop you off whenever you're staying if you don't mind waiting for that. I'm sorry, there's not space for you in the house. It's crowded in Liz's old room since you and Liz moved out. I don't know where all the stuff keeps coming from. Sure you don't, Pamela. It's okay, Cove already has a hotel room I'm gonna be staying in anyways. Cove sent you some pictures of the place when he arrived. Stylish and roomy. Seems very nice. It was a spacious double room. He claimed that his bed was comfortable, so you had high hopes about your own. Your mom smiled, relieved. Kira's already here, isn't she? She directed her question to Cove. He bobbed his head a bit to go along with his reply. Yeah, I heard she made it. She's gonna be staying with Dad while she's in town.
Oh?
Have you gone over to say hello yet? Cove chuckled self-consciously. At this time, he shook his head. You raised an eyebrow, since you had figured he would have taken the chance while he was waiting for you. No, not yet. I should go do that now. I just wanted Luna to be there too. He caught your eye with an adoring smile. Ma laughed at that, no doubt thinking that Cove was just as sweet but ridiculous.
Oh, nice.
It's nice to know your priorities. Yeah. Cove awkwardly rubbed his arm and shifted on his feet, looking all too much like he did as a
So?
kid. So, Luna, do you want to go over to my house now? That's a good idea. We won't be leaving until late evening. Yeah, let's go for it. Cove perked back up, excited once more. We'll keep an eye on all your things while you're out. There's no reason to be carrying that all around. You set your dags down in the living room, chucked into a corner where they wouldn't be in the way. Cove helped. Your moms waved the two of you off as you walked back to the entryway. Thanks, see you soon. You waved back at the opening and opened the front door for Cove. With that, you were on your way to hear Cove's family next. The ship put a special little pep in Cove's step as you crossed the street to his dad's house together. Your spirits were equally high. Doing this, you felt like a teen again. You know Cove's parents for a long time now. When it came to what you called his dad... probably say I will be on a first-name basis with Cliff. Although it was awkward on your tongue at first, it rolled off comfortably now. He appreciated how much he saw you as an adult and friend, and not just the kid from across the streets. As for Kira, she always preferred you calling her by her first name. To this day, you still do so. Coves hopped up to the front door and still didn't bother knocking. He twisted the knob open and swung it open. With a grin, Cove gave you a gratified thumbs up. You shook your head in disapproval, but you both knew that you would hypocritically support his behavior. Dad's lucky we aren't criminals. He brushed your comment aside and went right into his own home. Cliff was there, standing in the kitchen and babysitting a pan on the stove. His head turned at the sound of footsteps, and he brightened instantly at the sight of you both. Cove matched his enthusiasm instantly. If it was anyone else, he wouldn't have thought his lighting up with a childlike joy over seeing his dad again. But since you knew that Cove was actually like a kid, you're aware this level of happiness with Cliff was definitely not equivalent to any childhood feeling of his. Dad! Cove! Cliff graciously pushed what he was cooking to a different burner and flipped off the heat. He rushed over to the both of you, and Cove flew forward and to meet him halfway into a hug. Cove squished his eyes shut and held his dad in a tight hug. Cliff smoothly rubbed his son's back. That seemed more of an adult Cove became, the more he turned into a big daddy's boy, it seems. Missed you too. It was sweet, and the teasing aside, it was so wonderful to see them at this place in their relationship after years of struggling to connect. That's nice. I'm glad they were able to find their peace with each other. When the hug broke, Cliff hooked an arm around his son's neck, and he let out a deep laugh. Still can't believe you outgrew me. Really thought I had that on him after he graduated from high school, but then he had to keep going. Chuckling, he shook his fist in mock anger. Cove ducked his head and laughed in kind. Sorry, Dad. Cove's cheek turned pink and averted his eyes. He was becoming bashful, so he knew he had more he wanted to say. Cove softly added, But I was raised really well. His dad's expression instantly crumbled with emotion. He sniffled. Cove put an arm around him too and tugged him into a side hug. Oh, look at it bubbling vile. You observed the little reunion fondly, happy to let them enjoy their moment. They were a perfect pair of sentimentality. Look at the Cove's little goofy smile. Cliff eventually turned his attention to you.
Hey.
Hi, Luna. It's great to see you too. He pulled away from Cove and approached you with a little wave. He was back to his cheery self. Cliff, it's nice to see you. You hugged him. You went to him with the arms extended and in silence. Is this okay? Question in your eyes. Cliff pulled you into a big hug without a second thought. There was a quiet sniffle. Missed seeing your face around him. Thank you. Cliff cleared his throat, pulling attention to himself. He crossed his arms. But before he gets you carried away, it's not a real reunion yet. Kira's still in the guest suite. I'll go get her. He eagerly bolted down the hall, and you could hear every step he took. It ended with a distinct knock. Kira, they're here. It was only seconds before there was the soft of a door being yanked open. The pounding of feet hitting the wood floor grew even louder this time.
My baby!
My baby! I love that shirt, though. That looks like such a fun shirt. Next to you, Cove let out a nervous laugh. His parents entered the living room, and Kira stretched her arms out wide as she saw you both. Cove went to her easily. You opened your own arms open for a big hug. She held you both tightly in her arms, and you squeezed her back with nearly the same intensity. You felt loved. Cove wrapped his free arm around her too. He rested his head on top of hers and let out a happy sigh. After a moment, Kira let go and pulled back to get a better look at your faces. She surveyed every inch of them and appeared satisfied. Both looking well. That's wonderful, and that's just what I like to see.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mom. And hi, Mom. You look great too, Kira. And one day, soon, I'll let you in on my secrets. Kira winked, and yet Sierra Dad said she owed precious knowledge to looking your best. She was stunning in every time you saw her. I love her hair, like the lighter green on top and the darker green on bottom. That's so lovely. I'll be honored. So, you put your hands on your hips, your gaze sliding from one to another. Have you both been doing well since I last saw you? Any good stories? Kira gave a nod for Cliff to go first. Cheerfully, he waved at him.
No worries.
Oh, same old, same old. Still got a shop, still got my friends and family, of course, and still the most exciting thing around here is seeing who will rent that one free condo. Incredible. I always knew you were such a snorer. They snickered, and you couldn't help but peek at Cove. He rolled his eyes dramatically, drawing out a few giggles from you, but the whole time there was still a happy smile fixed on his face. For me, things have been good. I've got a lot of interesting assignments lately. Oh, and I recently went to Seattle, and... Kira twisted a strand of her hair shyly, and her mouth curved into a grin. Whatever she was thinking about it made her happy. Things have been going well with that guy from work, but it's still a little early to bring him all the way out to California to meet the family. Cove crossed his arms, and he and his dad nodded, so it was clear she appreciated the acceptance from her two boys. I hope he gets a seal of approval when he does come around. You added a thumbs up to keep things light. Her smile widened, grateful for your gesture. So that's us. Do you have any plans for the first day back? The only thing I have to do is pick up Liz later tonight before we head back to our hotel room.
Great.
Great. Sam looked out over his shoulder, his eyebrows pushed together. Glad you're here, but I just remembered that I was in the middle of cooking something. Only a small crack had escaped while you fought off the giant grin taking over your face. Meanwhile, Cove erupted into laughter that he had his dad shaking his head. That's fine, Dad. Go salvage what you can. I think it'd be nice to explore the old neighborhood for a while anyways, since we got the time. Cove directed the last part to you as he spoke, hoping that you'll want to go with him. You nodded automatically. You're already looking forward to it. It's a perfect idea.
Makes sense.
I think so too. You should go enjoy the day. I'll hang you back here so I won't be a third wheel, and someone's gotta keep an eye on Cliff before he catches the whole kitchen on fire. Mom, you're not a third wheel. Cove stiffly stuck his arms against his side like a little child. A small smirk tugged at Kira's mouth. She winks. You know what I mean. Have a good walk. I'll see you both later. Cheerfully, Cliff waved back before going back to his cooking. Cove smiled.
Bye.
Okay, bye. We'll be back. Bye. Cove trailed behind you as the walk of the welcoming summer sun. He stopped, closing his eyes to stretch his arms in warm summer rays. Satisfied, Cove turned to look at you carefully and took his hands in his. The heat of that was better and more comforting than any ray of sunlight that could shine on each day. Stepping closer, you squeezed his hand, your mouth curved into a playful smile. Luckily for you, I need help carrying that hand. Let's go. Naturally, you found yourself heading down the road toward the beach. Your spirits rose even higher as you strode across the sand, heading toward the shopping district. And with that, I think this is a good time to end this episode here. I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path wherever it might lead you into the future. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.